What's up, Scoop Podcast? I'm your host, Erica Kruppen. And on today's episode of the Scoop Podcast, I want to talk about staying on track during the holidays. Not only staying on track with your business, making sure that you don't get lazy, but not giving up on your goals. If you say that you're not going to drink during the holidays and you're not going to gain a bunch of weight, if you are going to get your operations and your procedures nailed down because you have some extra time. I want you to commit to that, and I want you to be able to push through and actually do it. Um, for any of those of you that are on a sober journey, the holiday season is tough, especially if you're living a sober life. Maybe if you're newer to it, you're trying to maintain a healthier lifestyle. The holidays can bring up a lot of emotions, good or bad. And for those of us that fill voids with food or alcohol or other things, the holidays can be a really tough time. So if you're interested in hearing all about that, stay tuned. But before we hop into it, I want to read some Apple reviews that came through. You guys have been so awesome and you've been leaving reviews, and then I posted that on Facebook and even more people left some reviews. And because you guys are so awesome, I actually want to read those on air because that's what I said that I was going to do. So let me scroll down. And if you are unsure if what this is, if you go to the Scoop Podcast with Erica Kruppen on Apple Podcast, you can leave me a well worded 5-star review. So this 5-star review comes from Lemural Landscaping, and they said, "Great podcast. I love this podcast. I also run a service based company doing lawn care and maintenance. Erica does a great job sharing her experience." Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Our next 5-star says, "Great stuff by Scoop Doctor. Great show for both the beginners and experienced scoopers. Wonderful content, well thought out, and fun. The guests are top notch, and I was one of them, and informative. Keep up the amazing work." Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's really cool. I'm going to keep the guests coming. If there are people that you want to see on the podcast, hit me up on Instagram at Erica Kruppen on Instagram. Send me a DM. You can send me topics that you want me to cover on the podcast, along with guests. If you're like, hey, I think this person would be really cool. I really would like to hear more from this person. Let me know. I can reach out. I can shoot my shot. I can slide into that person's DM and see if I can get them onto the podcast. It won't be weird. I have a podcast, right? So thank you so much for that 5-star review. Up next, Justin with Department of Duty. I had him on the podcast and his wonderful wife, Amanda. Great people. Absolutely great people. He says, "Keep up the good work. Love Erica's podcast. She's fun to listen to and covers everything needed to start your own company and build it to 6 figures." Yeah, that's all. That's what I've been able to build it to. I mean, it's a low 6 figures. It's not a high 6 figures, but one day maybe, like, what if we hit 7 figures? And you guys just been along the journey with me, that'd be crazy. And then you hit 6 figures in your business and you hit 7 figures in your business. That's what this is really about, right? So thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. This next one comes from, ooh, I'm going to spell it out: Huawilso. I'm not very good at that. If my husband was here, he would tell me how to pronounce that. All right. Great listen. I am totally amazed with this business. I am a frequent listener to the Scoop podcast. You motivate me. Keep up the great work and providing us content to watch and listen to. Professional lawn maintenance. Thank you. I appreciate that. J Kiss XO. Very real and raw. I love how real Erica is. If it wasn't for her and her story of getting started in scooping, my husband and I would have never started our business. I can't wait until this is where we do it full time. This is our first step of creating generational wealth for our future children and grandchildren. And we are so blessed. by what she shares. Thank you. I do really try to keep it raw and real. Sometimes I'm like, "Ooh, did I share too much? Did I? Was it a little much?" All right, the next one. Inspirational, and this is by T. Gordon 21. I love the unfiltered view Erica gives on business, ownership, and life in general. It's not always a bed of roses, and it is so refreshing to know that other people have the same struggles that I do. It makes me feel like there's hope for me and my business. And yes, there is hope because this entrepreneurship is a crazy ride. You have the ups and you have the downs, and then you have the downs, and then you ride the wave to the high and you're holding on to that. And then you get punched in the face and you're like, what's happening? And it's just, it's a good time. It is a good time. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. So thank you. Thank you so much for the review. 5-star review. Appreciate it. All right. December 16th. I think I already read this one, but if I haven't, I'll just go ahead. It's Dan the Man Without a Plan. Amazing content for anyone interested in the business or any entrepreneur journey for that matter. I'm on episode 43 and I can't get enough. I'm going to be upset when I get caught up and I can't binge and have to wait a whole week for the next episode. I have been setting up my business and hoping to have my first client soon. And it's all thanks to you for your content, giving me the knowledge and confidence to get started. Looking forward to more content. Dan in Pittsburgh. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I almost just gave myself a 3-star on accident when I was clicking around trying to find these reviews. Let's not do that, Erica. Let's not do that. So I just want to thank you guys so much for those that left me a 5-star review. If you find it in your heart to leave a 5-star review over on Apple Podcast, I will read it on the episode. And I also want to give a shout out to Jobber because Jobber is what keeps the lights on around here. Jobber is the system that I use for my business, for my routing, for my invoicing, for my customer communication. My favorite feature really is the text messaging because we text our homeowners when we're on the way to make sure that the dogs don't get let out. And that is a super convenient feature. And it really provides a safety net for us. So if you don't have a system to run your business. And if you're looking for something, definitely go ahead and click my link down in the description. You can get a 14-day free trial. And also, a big shout out to Cycle CPA. Cycle CPA has been helping me behind the scenes with my books. Let me know how the health of my business is going. If I'm spending too much money here, I'm not spending enough here. Hansel did tell me that I'm spending way too much money on advertisement and I'm not getting the rate of return that I need to. So he's like, ah, you got to stop it. You need to hire a professional. So that's what I will be getting into. So if you're interested in having a professional help you with your books and do bookkeeping, click my link down the description for Cycle CPA and please tell them that Erica Kruppen sent you. And I believe you're going to get a discount or some money off your first month. Perfect. Now let's actually get into what this podcast is actually about. The holidays are upon us. Jingle bells, jingle bell rock. The holidays are, let's be straight up. I feel like people that love the holidays are the ones that had wonderful childhood. My husband, he had a wonderful childhood. Him and his mom would decorate, they would do the knickknacks and probably make the cookies and then like they had a great time. I'm not going to say I had an awful childhood, but I had some trauma. There was definitely some fights. There was definitely some stress. There was definitely some ugh that went along with the holidays. So every time the holidays come around, I actually have like PTSD. I get really stressed out. But my husband has helped me through that. So I don't necessarily love the holidays. I like being bought gifts because, I mean, what woman doesn't? But with that comes stress. And if you're anything like me, you learn how to cope with stress. Like I've coped with food, I've coped with alcohol, I've coped with hiding out in my bedroom, I've coped with starting a business and just deep diving into the business and not paying attention to anything or anyone else because I just wanted to like disassociate. As time goes on, And if you want to improve yourself, you make some changes. And if you are going into this holiday season and you're like, okay, I don't want to gain another 15 pounds. I am sober because I chose to become sober. I want to get through the holidays and not pick up alcohol. Because it's everywhere. Everybody's drinking. They're having some eggnog. They're laughing. They're having the sip. They're having the pies. They're having the cookies. And if you don't struggle with this, if it's not like a big deal, then this episode isn't going to be relevant to you. But this is like top of mind, like going into the holidays. I'm thinking about it because for the most part, like the temptation isn't there. Like I avoid it. I don't go to parties really. I don't go to the bar. My husband, he drinks, but he hasn't been drinking lately, so it's not like alcohol's around. Because when I smell a beer, when it cracks, I smell it, my mouth starts to salivate. I'm sure if I were to smell a Long Island, a strong island, my mouth or a, oh gosh, what is it? Old fashioned, a smoked old fashioned. I'll be like, I wish I could have that, but I'm choosing not to. And the same thing with chocolate chip cookies. When I smell those, my mouth starts to just water. I'm like, I could eat all of you right now. And so going into it, I'm like, okay, what's the battle plan? How are we going to navigate this? Well, you have to have a clear focus. What's the focus? What's the goal? What is the battle plan? When you're going to the family event, you're going there. You know there's going to be things that are tempting for you. How are you going to stay away from it? You can speak with your host to find out what kind of food's going to be there and what kind of beverage options are going to be there. If you don't want to do that, you can bring your own food. I bring my own food places. I even one time brought my food into a restaurant, and that you might be like, that's too far. That's too far. I agree. It is too far. If it was just me and my husband and I brought my food into the restaurant, I feel like that would be too far. But I was with like 4 or 5 other people. And I told the waiter, I said, listen, I got an allergy. I can't eat the food, but I want to hang out with my people. I'm just gonna eat this in here. And they were okay with it. They were a little like standoffish, but I did it. I was bold and I just sat there and ate my little meal while everybody else was having fun and they were looking at me like I was weird. But I'm like, listen, just don't pay any attention to me. Just let's have conversation. Let me eat my little food and we can just move on with our lives. You can do that too when you're going to an event if there's not going to be anything there that you can eat. If there's going to be beverages there that you're having a hard time with alcohol, you need to get comfortable with saying no. And this is something that I really struggled with. And Joseph from Reproval kind of helped me with this because when I was first going through like my sobriety journey, I felt like awkward. I felt like I had to explain myself. So when somebody was like, here, you want an alcohol? I'm like, no, I'm sober. No, I'm not drinking. No, I don't drink because I'm an a hole to my husband. And I get depressed and then I eat a bunch of Taco Bell and then I wake up and I feel like crap and blah, 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 all the things. I would word vomit on people. Listen, we don't need to do that. That is unnecessary. Okay. Just get comfortable with saying no. And I want to teach you some ways to politely just decline. So if it's food or if it's alcohol or if it's a boundary, if you have like family around you that's like causing you issues, you need to learn how to say no and set the boundary. Dreaming of starting your own holiday lighting business? Bright Factory has you covered. Introducing the ultimate holiday lighting business in a box. Get ready to light up your community with everything you need to succeed. A complete brand identity, a sleek website, and fully wrapped trailer jam-packed with supplies and equipment. We're talking top-notch uniforms, eye-catching marketing material, and world-class training. Plus, custom videos for your team to ensure they're ready to shine from day one. Ready to turn your holiday lighting dreams into a reality? Visit brightfactory.com today and let Bright Factory light the way to your success. So here's some ways to simply decline. You can say, "Thank you, but I'm good for now." "Thank you, I appreciate it, but I have a water." You can say, "I'm sticking to my meal plan this winter season." And if somebody wants to offer you some alcohol, you can just say, "I'll pass, but we can toast with some sparkling water." not a problem. And if people say, well, what's wrong with you? Why are you not drinking? You just say, I just choose not to. I'm just choosing not to drink, but thank you. So just practice that. And if you're around people, like the party's getting later and people are starting to drink, it's okay to leave that party. It's okay to not stay there. When I'm at a party or I'm at a gathering and it starts getting later and I notice the shots are flowing more frequently, I'm bowing out. It's my time. Yep, I got to go home. I got stuff that I need to do. And in the beginning, it's uncomfortable. And it's weird because you're the odd person out. People are looking at you like that's weird. Okay. What do you mean you're not going to eat that? What do you mean you're not going to drink that? But as you're making those proper decisions, those compound things, things are going to start changing in you. You're going to start getting more confident. If you're working out and you're not eating like crap, your body is going to start changing. You're going to start looking better, and people are going to start taking notice. And then they're going to be asking you. They're like, "Well, what are you doing?" And you're like, "I'm literally saying no. I'm saying no to the things that are poisoning my body. I'm saying no. I'm taking the power back over my life, over what I put into my mouth." Because I really do feel like there's only two things we can control. We can control what we put into our mouths and what we say out of our mouths. My friend Jordan told me that her dad said that, and that was like, boom, man, that like stuck with me. I'm like, that's so true. That is so powerful. And then maybe you might start inspiring other people. Like my husband hasn't had a drink of alcohol or beer since we came back from the LCR summit. We came back, he went to the store, he grabbed a couple beers, cracked them. I went out in the garage. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh man, I'm just having some beers." And I guess maybe the look of disappointment came over my face. I just kind of like shook my head. I'm like, "All right, whatever, man." He doesn't have a problem, so I don't need to make him. I can't be like, "You can't drink because I'm not drinking." I can't do that. That's just going to cause issues in our marriage, which I've been there, done that. I've thrown away the beers that are just hanging out, not because it's him, because it made me enraged because I was so angry. I was so upset that I couldn't have one. I'm like, oh, it was a me issue. But he hasn't had a sip since. And I asked him why. And he was like, man, I see the changes that you're making and you're really doing it. And I see like how joyful you are. And I just want to get on board, man. I want to get on board with you. And I'm like, yes, right on. We'll see how we'll see how it goes when he gets around other people that are like influencing him if he's able to work through it. And I'll be there to be like a support system. And that's kind of what made me think about this is it's going to be lonely. It is lonely unless you have other people around you that are wanting to eat healthy, that are meal prepping and bringing their food to restaurants and bringing their food to the family function or like if the hostess is going to make some separate food for you. I don't ever request that because I'm not trying to do that. So I'd much rather just bring my own. But when I do Thanksgiving and I do Christmas this year, I'm going to have some gluten-free, dairy-free options. So if anybody else chooses that they want to eat a little bit healthier, they're able to. So at least we'll be able to have that option there. And another little tip that I noticed too. So when you're at, everybody's hanging out around the snacks, right? And everybody's like having their Rice Krispie treats and the chocolate chip cookies and the peanut butter balls and just all the things that are so delicious. And then when I would be like around it, people would be like, "Oh, don't you want some of this?" And I noticed when I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I would love to. I'm so jealous." They would like tease me and like taunt me more, because they thought it was like funny. But when I started being like, "Oh no, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. I've ate enough of it in the past." Like, even if I was like deep down inside, I'm like, I would roll around in those peanut butter balls right now and just be like, bah, and just be covered in chocolate. And it would be just an absolute disaster. Even if that's what I really wanted, I just chose to be like, no, I've ate enough of it. I'm good. That got people off of my back and they just kind of left me alone. They're like, "Oh, she's good. She's good." But when they seen that I was struggling a little bit, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about people. They want to tease you and they want to taunt you. And I think they want you to do what they're doing because it makes them feel comfortable. It makes them feel better about themselves. that they're stuffing their faces. I'm not here to judge. I've been there, done that. But there's just something nice about walking out of that situation, being in control of it. And for me, I can hold my head high when I was able to navigate a situation and keep things on track on the way that I planned on doing something. I can hold my head high. I don't have to suck in my gut and I don't feel like absolute crap and feel like trash for the next week or so. So now let's switch off from the topic of food. Let's switch over to your business. Okay. Wintertime, a lot of us start to slow down. Some of us quit working altogether. Like with the poop scooping, we keep working, but we slow down a little bit. But with the landscapers that listen, a lot of the tree guys, they slow down, they stop working. So take this time. If there's things that are kind of broken in your business, pain points, things that were going on, write that stuff down and set yourself up for success. Be like, okay, I'm going to work on getting a rate increase letter. I'm going to work on what my new terms of service are going to be and set a deadline for yourself. Set a deadline and make sure that you're doing it. You're like, okay, I'm going to have the first copy done by this day. Then I'm going to revise it and have the second copy done by this day. So you keep yourself on track. So when springtime rolls around and you're ready to hit the ground running, you're not just like running in the hamster wheel and you're like, oh, I didn't do it again. Then I got out of shape because I was being lazy. And then when you get back to work, you're feeling all weak. That first like week or two or maybe month back to work, you're feeling like absolute garbage because you didn't do the things that you said that you wanted to do. So if you tell yourself you're going to the gym, if you tell yourself you're going to work on those policies and procedures, if you tell yourself you're going to go to some seminars and educate yourself and become a better leader, darn it, you better do it. Quit failing yourself. Quit. You're in business for a reason. You decide to go all in on yourself, and it could be a bad experience or it can be a good experience. You choose. And the little things that you do every single day will add up to make it good or to make it bad. And then sometimes it's just bad. It doesn't matter how good you do, it's just bad. But that's okay because that's what happens with entrepreneurship. But as long as you're taking care of what you need to take care of, I feel like success will follow. So, to wrap all this up, figure out what it is that you want to do. Come up with the plan, work the plan, and stick to it. And there'll be times where things are going to get uncomfortable, and there will be times where you feel uncomfortable in your skin and people are trying to test you and they're trying to push your boundaries. Don't let it happen. Stay strong, stay faithful in what you're doing and keep pushing forward. I appreciate you guys. Let's have a really good winter so then we're able to have a really strong spring so in 2025 we're able to grow our businesses and we can just flourish cuz I want you to flourish cuz 2024 was tough. This was a tough year. I can't say that I can't say. I'm excited for it to be over. I'm not going to lie. I really am. I'm ready to get into 2025. All right. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this brought you some value. And until next time, bye.